We are back. So, we unfortunately do not have Rook, but instead, we have Shinobi.
Yeah, I'll handle the recap for today. So, last week, our magnificent bastards focused their attention on the ghostly, murderous house. First, they hit the books and researched this entity, finding out that photography was its primary weakness. Taking pictures of the ghost would take away pieces of its power, especially in a camera with customized runes of warding. Nora and Vanessa acquired all the vintage cameras in London, while Victor visited the Japanese community to learn more about symbols of consecration. Rick invited Victor to his penthouse to discuss ways to apply the runes to the cameras, but also confronted him about helping the werebear escape, which put Rick in a bind with his contacts. As the cell gathered at one of Vanessa's townhouses to prepare for the ritual to summon the game's ghost, Nora noticed that strange things are happening in the ghost house, including the ghosts seeming to watch her through her own cameras. The cells started their efforts to lure the ghost using the game, which was its anchor. Everything went black, and the cell had trouble moving, as though ankle-deep in mud. The ghost screamed, and then vision returned, but the cell found themselves packed in like sardines with ghostly yet physical bodies. The team started to take pictures of the bodies in an attempt to use its weakness against it. And some had more success than others, like Nora the paparazzo. The ghost attacked Rick's mind, showing him horrific visions as he went catatonic. The Polaroid pictures as they came out of the cameras developed instantly, but the pictures of the ghosts were in motion, each a miniature prison for pieces of the ghost. Nathan too hurt the ghost with a great picture, and the ghost lashed out at him, sending him flying against a wall. Nora finished capturing the ghost with an incredibly potent picture, and as the evidence of ghostly influence left the area, Cecil rushes Nathan to perform first aid and stop him from bleeding out. Nathan's daughter called and didn't understand why Nora wouldn't let her talk to her dad. Elsewhere in London, 3 masked figures broke into the Delacroix Manor, robbing much of the valuable items they found there, but left the magically warded dinner room alone.
And I feel like this is a pretty good point to go ahead and pick up. Maybe a day or two later, Nathan is currently resting in the hospital.
Oh yeah, he got his ass handed to him.
On a platter, yes.
With that being said, Nora and Cecil are preparing for other things at this time. Chloe has been by Nathan's bedside the entire time, and also has been rudely telling you guys pretty much every foul word she knows in regards to Nora and her antics. We are gonna pick up with Victor. It's been slow going these last couple of days. The house, the family manor, has been... Oh, the word vandalize is the only one that comes to my mind at this time. Numerous artworks are gone, vases. All of this stuff is irritating. However, it is not the main concern. The main concern are some of the older volumes from the family's studies having vanished as well. Sir.
Yes, that is most distressing to hear.
One of your servants comes by. Mr. Delacroix?
Yes, how can I help you, dear?
She kind of passes over a piece of paper. This is the itemized list of everything that was taken. It mostly just expensive items, but we did count at least 20 books missing as well. At least according to the family records of books being kept there.
That is unfortunate. Such items are often irreplaceable, and I'm afraid they may deteriorate if not properly cared for. I can't imagine our vandals have the proper knowledge and wherewithal to properly catalog the volumes. Rest assured, dear, I will do everything in my power to find those responsible for such a unthinkable act of theft and desecration of such a beautiful place of knowledge.
Are you sure that we shouldn't report this to the police? I know the current word is not to report it to the police at this time, but like this does seem like something that should be reported.
Indeed, yes. Rest assured, I will have a full investigation of this event. The police will be involved in time. We need to get our affairs in order here, but I will be making arrangements shortly for a full investigation, of course.
As you wish, young master, and she does give you somewhat of a bow and then begins setting about whatever her task might be for that day outside of the cataloging.
And I have a phone call to make. An old acquaintance of mine. I would not lie to the young lady about these matters, but I don't necessarily want too many boots stomping around, you know. Something a bit more private, more professional, perhaps. Victor is going to give a friend of his a call, an individual, Chief Inspector Daston, Daniel, as he is sometimes affectionately called, and try and arrange a, shall we say, a more quiet investigation of this matter.
The phone rings a couple of times, and then you hear Daniel's voice pick up. Victor, it's been a little bit, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, Daniel. Entirely too long. Say, I have a little favor to ask of you. My home, the Delacroix Manor, it's unfortunately been robbed. I'm afraid a number of items were taken from the residence. And I just wanted to bring this matter to your attention and to see if you could bring out some of your fine, upstanding men to give the crime scene a thorough look over, of course. Hopefully, you can spare some of your professionals on this matter, given the, shall we say, value of some of the items stolen.
When you say value, What type of value are we talking here? I want to make sure that I know where to look, so to speak. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right shops, the right dealers. What type of value are we talking here?
Yes, of course. You know me, Daniel. You know the kind of things that I like to decorate the house with. Antiques, valuables, the like. Very unique pieces, which, of course, I've taken the liberty to catalog, which has helped me compile which items have been clandestinely removed from the residence. Now, some of them, of course, are valuable in and of themselves, but others have a more sentimental value. Someone, rather peculiarly, has removed some of the antique books and journals from the family library. Not something most, shall we say, thieves might be interested in. The antique book market is rather a rather limited circle, you understand.
Limited, but lucrative if you get first editions. However, I'm pretty sure yours are the only edition.
Yes, some of them are quite personal, shall we say. Singular copies recovered, old journals from some of my, shall we say, family predecessors. Some things that can't easily be replaced. But you understand then why such a, shall we say, high value theft requires a degree of discretion and discernment in its investigation. Something I'm sure that you can arrange for.
Of course, I can arrange that. One thing I do want to confirm, though, that I'm not going to have a vampire breathing down my neck in the next 2 days. His voice lowers just low enough to that maybe somebody might be outside of his office. If he were to say it at full volume, they might be able to hear him. You notice that bit of fluctuation in his voice.
No, I don't think this matter is of an unusual nature. But I don't believe anything of that sort might be involved. As best as I can surmise, this is a thoroughly mundane theft of my personal property and mementos.
I will get some of my best men on it. It'll be small, it'll be under the rug. We won't make too much of a noise. I am gonna need, you probably already have it, an itemized list of what was taken.
Yes, I've taken the liberty of arranging such a list.
Of course. I would honestly have been surprised if you hadn't. So, I will be by later in the evening to pick up that list. We will review the list. You'll have a visit from one of the officers, probably tomorrow. And then we get this business swept under the rug as quickly as possible.
Thank you so very much, Daniel.
Not a problem. Oh,
I appreciate it.
one other thing.
Yes, of course.
I'm going to be having to deal with those MI5 agents sniffing around, taking things from me. It's obnoxious. That's why I had to lay my head a little lower than usual.
I certainly understand it. It has been a while since we've last talked. But I do believe their investigation is concluding shortly. Hopefully they'll be out of your hair soon enough.
He pauses. I hope concluding is their terminology as well as yours. Either way, I will see you by the end of this evening.
See you soon, Daniel.
As the phone hangs up, the same servant comes up. Sorry to bother you again, Mr. Delacroix, but this message just came in. It has the crow emblem on it.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll see it right away.
As she hands you, it's just a standard heavy envelope type paper, but not the really large one. It's just really nice envelope, essentially.
I will, retreat to my study, and thank the miss, for delivering the missive, and, open it in a bit more, with a bit more privacy.
As you read through this letter, you are cordially invited to a banquet. It will be hosted here at the London branch of the Ashwood Abbey. Please, black tie only, of course. One of your fine, established members has brought us a delicacy from across the ocean. They say it's going to be a meal to remember. Signed, Maximilian Strauss.
Was this letter personally addressed to Victor, or does it seem to be more of a general missive?
It seems general in its construction. It seems like more one of those fill in the name type letters. So it is specifically addressed to Victor, but as you look through it, it's typed. So honestly, it was probably just fill in the named.
Yes. Oh. How could I refuse such an invitation? Victor's being spoiled if we go from one dinner party to another. Just a shame about this whole thievery business. Kind of puts a damper on the party atmosphere.
And speaking of thievery, let's go over to Rick.
Hello.
What have you been up to, Rick, in the days since the hospitalization of Nathan?
Rick has been helping take care of Chloe and keeping an eye on her, watching out for Nathan coming and going, harassing doctors as needed, writing checks where needed, making sure Nathan's getting the top care. There's probably been once, maybe twice, where, you know, there was like imagine with it being Nathan, that's about as close to a touchstone as you can get without it being a touchstone. And I could imagine there's like once or twice where like Rick is nearby and somebody kind of a, you know, hospital security or a particularly sassy doctor mouths off to Chloe or something, and Rick steps in and kind of puts them against the wall and gives them that like that look where it's like, I'm not going to threaten you with words, but if you look in my eyes, you're not going to find a soul there. Move on. Don't talk to them that way again. I imagine that probably happens once. Other than that, he'll spend his downtime moving forward on working his way into, through, and around the mystery of the Abbey and the Black Royal Regatta, and the potential fact that the London cell we're working with could be rogue, making lateral moves through some of the network components and stuff.
All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of a change here, technically. Pooter here is not going to be taking the role of Nathan this evening. He's going to be taking the role of Chloe. So, however, before we get on to most likely Chloe over Rick's shoulder pestering him while he's trying to research stuff on the computer, let's go ahead and get your computer plus intelligence roll.
Yeah, and I imagine Rick's penthouse is actually really close to the St. Thomas Hospital, which I think is is the best in London, much closer than Nathan's house. So I imagine Chloe would probably be staying at Rick's penthouse and leveraging a driver to go to and from as needed. All right, so intelligence, computer, 9 again, specialization modifier. Spend a willpower. 4 successes.
All right. Well, you have made ground. It's clear that you've made your way through systems. Most of the files you've turned up at this point have honestly been the standard country club stuff that you would expect to see. Money for this event, money to get the golf courses redone, money to fill in a gigantic hole in the middle of a forest on some sort of private property that they owned. You know, stuff you kind of would expect.
Yeah.
You also see some banknotes, so to speak, of the hall that you know for a fact is going to be rented by the Ashwood Abbey for the Galleria event that is going to be held in the very near future.
Okay.
But it's all very business as usual. However, there's that hint, that gut feeling that you're close. Just maybe one more password protected file, one more false, icon leading you to what you need to find out. You're close.
I know there's something wrong somewhere, and I've eliminated so much that there just can't be much left.
Yeah. From this perspective, you're sitting at 14 successes. So, essentially, if you would have gotten one more success, I would have given you a headway lead. But you were
so close.
Just one off. However,
so close.
It's about at this time that your concentration is broken by...
What are you doing on the computer?
Oh, this is why I didn't make more progress. Chloe, sweetheart. Are you bored?
A little. Do you have any games?
Which one do you want?
Well, which ones do you have?
Yes.
You have all the games?
Yes, there's an SNES emulator, there's a Sega emulator, there's a Nintendo emulator, there's an emulator for the PS1, 2, and 3.
We do not condone the use of emulation for games that you do not own.
Correct. But Rick's like, yeah, I have. You tell me what you actually here. Come on, I can show you. You know what? I need out of the house. This is, and he kind of rubs his eyes, locks the computer, closes down some things, locks the computer, and is like, come on, let's, how's hibachi sound?
What is it?
Hibachi?
I don't know what hibachi is.
When your dad feels better, I'm going to smack him for that.
He's already hurt. You don't have to hurt him anymore. Why did he get hurt in the first place? Nobody tells me.
You know, Chloe, one of the early things I learned when I was doing the stuff I used to do is to realize when there's stuff that you don't want to know, and then leaving it alone.
But that's my dad. What?
And he's being taken care of, and there's nothing you could have done or can do or will be able to do. So the best you can do is be there when you can be there when you should be, and let the rest go, because there's reasons for what you do and don't know.
Well, that's just not fair. I should know. I'm almost a grown-up, so I think I should know what my dad does for a living, and why he gets hurt sometimes, and why he has so many guns.
How old are you now, Chloe?
13.
Yeah, almost grown up for sure. Yep. We'll tell you about it one day, but not while you're still almost grown up.
She kind of just grumbles.
there's some things you just can't unhear. But that's why I'm there, to make sure he stays safe and doesn't get too stupid.
Was it the same thing that attacked me?
No. That thing's we took care of that.
So there's something else then.
Yeah, it was something else bothering someone else, but we took care of it too.
So you're helping people. Is that what my dad does? Does he help people?
Generally, yeah. That's normally what we do. Help may not be the best word. Protect.
You hear a buzzing sound from your intercom system. It seems like the front desk is attempting to buzz you.
Oh, thank God. Out of this conversation. I hear it, and I'll like bring up the app on my phone and like connect it. Yes?
Mr. Warren, there is a envelope addressed to you down here. It doesn't have a
Pro?
Yes, how did you know?
I get those on occasion. I'm not always in London though. I'll grab it on my way out. Have my driver bring around. I'm gonna look at Chloe and be like, "Do you want a big car or a fast car?"
Fast car.
Cool. Have my driver bring the little Audi around.
We'll go ahead and do so.
And Rick kind of smirks, knowing that it doesn't matter how fast the car is. We're going to be driving through London. So it's like, yeah, sure, fast car, whatever.
It sounds fast.
Yeah. And I'll
Proceed
lead
never
Chloe
to get
down.
over 40 miles per hour.
Yep. It could do, $190. Not in this city. Not without Cecil driving and me having to scrap it later. But I'll take the letter on the way out, and I'll let Chloe ride shotgun, and I'll get in the back so I've got privacy to read it in the back seat, and I'll open it up and kind of read it through, assuming it's the same one Victor got.
It is.
Close it back up, tuck it inside of my jacket, and Rick will take Chloe to get like a nice hibachi meal, and then take her to the hospital for visitation hours.
All right. Vanessa,
Yes.
you've kind of been, maybe much to your excitement, been kind of left alone. for these last couple of days.
Yeah. The downtime between hunting monsters is never fun. People always complain, "Ow, I got hurt. I need a hospital. Where's the doctor?" And it's just too long for her. Yeah, she's been getting restless lately, and I believe last session she got a dress that she wants to check up on. That seems to jog her mind something. So, yeah, we're probably checking up on that.
All right, as you pull up onto this address, it's a fairly nondescript place. You know, it's not super nice. It's not a garbage apartment. It's kind of just your run-of-the-mill place. However, that isn't usually what you deal with. It's almost too average. It's one of those averages where it's not gonna attract any sort of attention one way or the other. It's plain as you kind of look at the outside of it, with that kind of thought process.
Okay. What do I know of the owners? I probably could have dug up the paperwork involved in the tenants and whatnot. What do I know about them?
It's just a
names or
standard.
occupation?
Names are going to one Clarissa and Robert Jordan.
Okay.
Just a small couple, from what you can tell, they're married. Otherwise, they're a very, very creepy brother and sister, which, maybe we don't want to continue on that train of thought.
Wait, brother and sister that are married? What?
I stated that they are married unless they're a really weird brother and sister.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard. I thought you said they were brother and sister. They had been married. That would
Sweet
been
home
very,
Alabama.
very weird. Yeah. Looking at it, does anybody appear to be home?
Not at this time. There's no cars pulled out front. And I mean, I do technically have the keys. It's not.
Oh yeah, I do have the keys. Yeah, I forgot. I was thinking, okay, how did I break into here?
Generally not
Yeah.
appropriate for the landlord to come in without notice, but
Yeah, I'm gonna take a peek. Come up to the door, have a look in here by the door, see try to hear if anybody's home.
go ahead and give me a
Yeah.
perception check to essentially hear and listen at the door.
One success.
It is dead quiet in there. If there is somebody in there, they are completely comatose, sleeping soundly like a baby.
I use the key on the door.
You've activated a trap. No. Had to pull in a little bit of D&D there. No. I mean, the key opens the door. It opens up into the living room. It's decorated. Certainly not Vanessa's taste. A little too,
Okay.
maybe, quaint.
Yeah. I'll have a look around, sneak in, close the door behind me. Have a look around.
As you begin to move around, I do want you to make me a resolve composure check.
No problem. 2 successes.
As you kind of roam around, some of the rooms themselves look familiar, not the furniture. definitely before the furniture was there. You remember not faces, but people. You remember a couple of words here and there spoken that all the readings suggested that there was some disturbance here. The memory kind of essentially Vanessa turns her head to the left to look at the person that spoke that. Can't really remember a description. It's just essentially a black blob in your brain at this moment.
Just words echoing around.
The laptop, they're walking around with a laptop in their hand, very clearly typing something out. The other 3 individuals are moving about the place. It looks like they may have flashlights in their hands. But that's all you can remember at this time.
Okay. Is there like a second story to this place or anything?
Nah, it is just essentially a living room, kitchen, hallway, bathroom, and then bedroom. It's a pretty standard apartment type deal.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any like pictures like around, like of the people that like live in here, or?
Yeah, there's a few pictures that are classic, you know. Oh, here's us on
Happy
our
couple.
honeymoon. Here's us, you know, at our wedding. Just seems like a normal family.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna just like wander like around for a bit, try to like follow those like memories, like just, like try to like see if any like find anything to jog her memory. But if she can't do that, she probably will just leave.
There is one specific thing that she does remember now as she kind of comes out of the bedroom and looks at the far wall in the hallway on the opposite side of where the hallway would go into the kitchen / living area. Essentially, let's just say to her left is a wall as she comes out of the room, and then to the right is the rest of the hallway leading into the rest of the apartment, just for simplicity's sake here. As you look at that wall, roll me a perception check as well, actually. I'll do this in 2 ways.
2 successes.
You remember ripping a hole in that wall. And as you kind of look at the wall, you can see the patchwork. I mean,
Okay.
it's not shoddy patchwork by any stretch. It's just one of those things you can just really staring at it, you're like, there was definitely damage here and this was repaired.
Something that's like, okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess like I'll feel like around it. Like maybe like I like had something installed here, like a secret door or something. I don't know. Like I'll feel around, see if there's like anything, like could be considered like way to like if this is like a secret door to open it. But if not, I'm just gonna like dig my hands into the drywall and rip it out.
Doesn't seem like it's a door, so give me that strength check.
Dokily dokily.
As if there's a single chance that Vanessa's gonna fail this one.
Gonna be a door.
Road check. This is roads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 degrees of success.
6 degrees of success. Lol, what wall?
Vanessa
Yeah.
punch good.
making like a American named Kyle on Way Too Much Monster. You kind of go through the drywall. With somewhat of reckless abandon. As you tear into this wall, though, you see that this apartment used to be much larger, and it now opens up into what appears to be a entire another section. At this point, you're gonna get a phone call.
Bring, bring. Yeah. Who's calling?
Oddly enough, it's your gym. The gym that you frequent.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a bit odd. Yeah. I'll answer. Hello.
Hello. Is this Vanessa Adler that I'm speaking with?
You're speaking with her.
Yes. I'm sorry. We don't normally do this. We kind of had a weird situation come up that and you can hear complete and utter confusion on this guy's voice as he's talking to you. Some men in suits came up and they handed us a letter saying that you weren't at your place of residence and that they know that you frequent here pretty often. The letter has like a bird of some sort on it. They said it was urgent that you got it, and they figured that you might not be home before you would come here, so they dropped it off here. I have no idea.
All right, I'll pick it up. Yeah, thanks for holding for with me.
Yeah, just tell them that we don't normally do that. They were very insistent, and it looked like one of them almost pulled a gun on me.
Yeah. Thanks again, and I'll just hang up this time. I don't want to get into a goodbye conversation. We're like, okay, goodbye. No, goodbye. Don't want to do that. Yeah. Vanessa's a bit distracted by the hole.
Fair enough. Is Vanessa gonna move through the hole in the wall?
Yeah. I go into the wall. What do I see?
Well, as stated, it is essentially at first just a continuation of the hallway. You can tell it opens up into a much larger room. There's a couple of other doorways off to your left and right. If Vanessa were to glance into them, go ahead and give me another resolve plus composure here.
2 successes. Yeah, average.
As you look into the first room, you see the shadow of the person move past. It's the same person that was holding the laptop. They kind of stand in the center of the room, and they look around. Readings are going off the chart in here. Man, I really hope that we can get some actual tangible proof this time. I'm so tired of these things turning up goose egg. And then another voice that you can't necessarily place. We'll get it sometime. I mean, we know these things exist. It's just a matter of actually getting proof for once. And that memory slowly slips away again. Slips back essentially into in the place that your brain seems to think that it should belong in the timeline of your life, so to speak.
Is there anything in these rooms, or are they all empty?
This first room that you're looking at is pretty much empty. You can kind of tell by the design and the excess amount of pipes that it was a kitchen or bathroom of some sort. It's been completely gutted except for the floorboards and pipes sticking out. You can definitely tell this room had a lot of water going through it, so that's what leads you to assume maybe bathroom or kitchen of some sort.
Okay. Yeah, I'll creep around, checking out all the other rooms and whatnot.
The next room doesn't elicit anything. It looks to be a small dining room. Now, as you step into the big room, the memory comes in. As you kind of look to your right, there was a table there at one point. You can even see, the slight dust marks of where a table once sat. That table has now completely been removed. You're not sure who removed it, but you do remember the objects sitting on that table. It was a book. You didn't get a good look at it. At least, according to your memory, you were kind of on the other side of the room. You hear somebody walk over to the table, pick up the book, you hear pages start to turn, and then you begin to smell sulfur. And the last words you hear are, "Network Zero is going to flip." And that's when that memory ends. And I need a perception check.
Got it. 2 successes.
You hear voices at the far end. I know I shut and locked the door. And then, who's there?
Like a window or anything on this undiscovered part of the house?
Yes, especially in this room, there are 3 windows.
All right, I'm gonna make a covert escape. I'm gonna go.
To go on a tree.
Covert escape or running and jumping out the window. You are on the first
Bit
floor.
different. This, yeah. So like, I wouldn't be falling super far.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking go out the fucking window. Yeah. Sorry.
Give me a strength check. These windows are a little bit sturdier.
Right. This has got a 4 successes.
Go ahead and take 2 points of lethal damage as when you slam into this window. The glass seems to have the wire framing in it, so you're strong. You throw your body forward with enough force that it doesn't.
Get through it.
Yeah, it's just gonna cut and hurt like heck.
All right, smash.
Mhm.
I'm on the other side, and yeah, I get out of there.
As you're booking it, you can hear, people screaming, "We're gonna call the cops," and, the typical stuff you would hear after you broke into somebody's, apartment.
Yeah. Oh my God, Rob.
And then the whole, "What the hell is this room?" Also follows very shortly thereafter.
All right. Yeah. As soon as I can, when I get out, probably. I imagine I'd probably didn't take a car if we walked again. I might have had a backpack on, and yeah, when I'm feel safe enough away, I'm gonna get like some bandaging out and just maybe patch up my arm with to treat my wounds.
Go ahead and give me the medicine roll there.
Yeah, I'll spend a point of willpower on this. 1 success. Eesh.
I mean, you're sure that they're not going to get infected. Probably not your best work, but then again, it's also kind of hard to see sometimes, especially around your shoulder region, etc. Making sure that you get wraps exactly right. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to do on yourself.
Oh.
And with that, where is Vanessa going to head next?
Go check out the gym. Get that letter back.
The gym is very much the same way you had left it. The front desk kind of waves you over. Miss Adler, you're here for that letter.
Just call me Vanessa. Don't follow us Adler crap. So, I'll just take the letter out of her hands.
Fine.
Been here long enough, you need to call me.
Yes, it's still considered proper, though.
Yeah, and I just dig my hands into the envelope and just make a mess out of it and just rip the letter out. And I just skim over it real quick.
If you could inform your contacts or whatever they are, this is not a place to receive letters.
Yeah, it's a gym, I know. They're assholes. Yeah.
So probably won't even listen if you did try to tell them.
No, they wouldn't. Yeah, I'm guessing it's the same thing Victor got.
Victor and Rick, yeah.
So, great, another one. All right. Yeah, thanks, Kathy. And she turns around and leaves.
The guy kind of raises an eyebrow at being called Kathy.
I thought it was a girl at the.
No, it was the same guy that you spoke with over the phone. So,
Sorry, Vincent. I thought, yeah, brain's a bit addled.
And I feel like with that, we're gonna make a little bit of a time skip. Now, is Chloe going to be attending this soiree? I can't talk today.
No.
She, if she manages to steal the envelope from Nate's table there when he's sleeping, then yes.
Give me a stealth plus dexterity roll opposed by Rick's perception at a -2 for being asleep. So I know you don't have a sheet. That's going to be 4 dice because it's just the flat average.
Okay, I'll just do the simple roll 4 dice.
Yep.
You said versus Nate's perception, right?
Spend the willpower.
Versus Rick's perception.
Oh, Rick's letter is destroyed as soon as he has an opportunity to do so.
But she's grabbing Nathan's letter.
Oh, Nathan's. Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about she'll grab Nathan's out of the hospital room. Yeah.
No roll needed.
Okay.
Nathan's in a medically induced coma at this time.
We can still roll because if she's there, Rick probably took her. So he's there. And he knows we're getting them. Or not.
Nah,
Discretion.
not in this case. I want Chloe to have the letter. What's Chloe's response to this letter?
What did it say again? Remind me.
You are cordially invited to a dinner party at the Ashwood Abbey location headquarters here in London. We will be dining on a delectable delicacy from across the pond. Black tie only, of course. Signed, Maximilian Strauss. And it goes on to say a couple of other things that, Chloe doesn't really understand. Something about other members, cells, etc.
Okay. Seems like a really fancy dinner.
Yes.
Rick walks back in. He's like, I got you some of those chips you liked. And he sees the envelope in her hand. It's like,
Now I'll make a roll. Hide it before he gets in.
She can hide it before he gets in. That's fine. I picture Rick walking back in and they're like the teenager like stuffing it hurriedly like into like a pocket. So I got I couldn't remember which one of the Cokes you got, so I just bought one of all of them, and he's like lugging like a dozen bottles of various flavors of Coca-Cola.
Well, it depends on. Yeah, she's stuffing the letter in. Just the regular one is fine. Would you bought all of them?
What would it be? How do you roll perception?
What's plus
It
composure?
was all. Yeah, what's amazing.
Wits and composure. I'm gonna do a -2 because like I'm carrying a bunch of stuff in my hand and all. So that feels right. 0 successes.
Even with 9 again.
Oh crap!
It's-
I had changed that to normal. It does that sometimes.
Yeah, it happens, but it doesn't change the roll any.
Nope. I'll refresh my page.
Why did you buy all of them? I just wanted a regular Coke.
Yeah, but they're all Coke.
Yeah, but
And I
when
couldn't remember
someone says go buy me a Coke, they don't mean all of the Cokes. Who did your
You want me to
mama
just
not
throw 'em
tell
all-
you how to spend money?
We didn't have money.
And so now you feel like you have to buy everything because now you have money.
No, I didn't know which one you wanted, and I'm too lazy to walk back up here and ask. This is like $12.
pulls out her
It's
phone.
not that much.
She pulls out her little pink phone. I have a phone.
I just let them go right into the floor.
Oh, now they're shaking. You know what? Just for that, she picks up one Coke, goes right next to you, and opens it.
Oh, that was. Damn it, Chloe.
So, now with that, I'm assuming Chloe's gonna show up.
Oh, yes. She's going to find her way there. She's not going to get driven, because I don't think she has anyone that would take her, but she knows how to walk.
And I'm also guessing she's gonna show up in regular straight attire, or is she actually gonna show up in black tie? I have to.
She knows what black tie is. Nathan has often gone to black tie events, even not Abbey events, so she knows how to be charming when she needs to be. So she has, fancy dresses that she doesn't wear very often, but she has them. And she will take a black tie just to be sarcastic.
So,
This is why Rick likes Chloe.
everybody shows up, I'm assuming, relatively on time. Actually, probably in Vanessa's case, 2 hours later.
I wait till I think the most people would be getting there at once, and you hear.
The helicopter again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finally got it out of the impound.
Oh yeah, I've had it back for a hot minute.
So, as you guys arrive, the dining room is, of course, elegantly decorated. Plenty of seating. Members of the Abbey are taking their seats at their usual locations. Assigned seating, everybody is, given a specific seat, usually with one cell, or if sometimes familial ties matter a little bit more than cells. So, Victor, if you would prefer to be seated with your family, that is, of course, available.
I think Victor will sit with the Sal. But
Imagine Victor and Rick's seats are right next to each other.
Vanessa, showing up late?
I'd probably show up whenever I show up. She doesn't care when she arrives.
Oh, then we're gonna do unfashionably early. You're there 3 hours before everybody else. You leave that up to DM discretion.
I probably don't show up 3 hours early. Maybe I'm gonna roll a d3 and that's gonna.
If
Fair
she's
enough.
early,
I
she's
arrive on time. I roll a 2.
Wow.
Through the middle.
It was an accident.
It's a pure accident, though. Like,
Vanessa shows up. She sees everybody, just arriving. She looks at her watch and is like, "The hell?"
this never happens.
Chloe,
Yeah.
when you arrive, you are immediately stopped at the gate and denied entry.
Excuse me, I was invited here. She pulls out the letter. See?
That is addressed to Nathan. You do not look like a Nathan.
Nathan's my dad. He said I could come.
That is not how these invitations work.
Well, because he can't come because he's in the hospital. I don't know if you heard. He protects people, so he asked me to come instead, and he gave me the letter. He said I could be here. He said it would be okay.
There's a slight grin that comes across this guy's face as he, puts himself in between the door and, Chloe. Yeah, that's not how these events work. By invite only, and your name has to be on the invite.
But my name technically is on the invite. See, Crawford, right there. I'm Crawford.
You're not Nathan Crawford. We're going to be discussing very sensitive matters. It would not be fitting for one such as yourself to be here.
Sensitive how?
Maybe once you have grown up a little bit, your father will discuss these matters with you and let you in on the family secrets. But at this moment, it seems like that ship may have sailed.
Like you very much.
I'm sorry that you feel that way. What did you say your name was again, Chloe?
Chloe Crawford, yes.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Chloe Crawford, but the invitation was for your father and your father alone.
Don't think this is over. She turns to walk away, looking for another way
My
in.
dad on you.
He mutters underneath his breath, "It usually never is with girls your age."
She's going to be looking for another way in.
Go ahead and roll me perception. So that's 2 and 2, 4. Since just running off of everything basic.
Okay.
Why do I feel like at 13, Chloe has a dot in larceny and stealth?
No successes on that one.
This place is designed as you kind of meander about the grounds and look around. This place is designed to be as defensible as possible. It's almost like they expect people to try to mob the gates almost at some point. We are not seeing a lot of good options. There are options, but they're not good ones. Like, you see windows that you could get through, but then you'd be like walking straight into the dining room from the window, which, Chloe is certainly smart enough to be like, that's probably not the way I want to make an entrance.
No, not at all. Okay. So then her next plan is to try and follow a large group in. Maybe hide behind just enough so that she can sneak in.
Give me another roll of 4. I'm not even going to bother calling skills at this point. It's always going to be 4.
Ooh, 1 success.
Then I actually have to roll my first roll here. Once again, wits plus composure. And that would be at a -2 for the crowd.
Hi. What happens in a tie?
Ties go to the defender. The question is who's the defender here? Is it the person?
Definitely the
Security
guard.
Probably, yeah, I agree.
As this group goes in, you feel a hand on your shoulder as the group moves past. The hand is connected to the guard, and he kind of looks down at you like, really?
It was worth a shot. And she tries to break free and run in.
Okay, this is going to be the last roll. Give me
That's fine.
one more roll.
Oh.
Dang it, she's not getting in.
The dice hate you.
They're not liking Chloe.
Yeah, nah, he grabs your wrists and goes, all right, we're going to do this the hard way then.
Hard way it is, and she screams, "Let me go! I don't know you, pervert!"
Does Rick hear Chloe screaming?
We're gonna put a pin in that. Moving to the group that's currently inside preparing, it's the appetizers being brought out. It's, the very start, people are still drinking over. Appetizers are just being passed around on silver platters by waiters,
Let's say this is like we're not seated. This is like the standing with the people walking around and everybody kind of milling about.
For now, yes.
Yeah. The pre-dinner.
Yes. You feel a hand clap down on your shoulder, Rick, and the voice and face that appear next to you are only familiar to you because you've seen them a couple of times. One of those times was when he was standing over the top of that creature, holding its head up with its tall tongue lolling out of its mouth. The smell of bourbon is already thick on his breath. Hey, Rick, how you doing today?
Rick kind of looks over and kind of does like the Hey, buddy.
It's good to be back here in the real world, not that fantasy land that you guys call America.
Yeah. Odd you had to go so far to finally find something to bring back, though.
Oh, it was just part of our list. Our list said bring back an American, what was it? American creature. He kind of chuckles, his voice slurring just that bit where he's had, outside of his breath, he's had one too many.
Already. Wendigo, though. That's a good take.
We thought so too, and you were right about one thing. I'll give you that. You were right. You needed to make sure the rest of the Abbey had fun as well. And he gives you a very pointed look.
Rick's kind of like mulling that over. I'm like, I didn't really take black tie dinners as your kind of fun.
I mean, when you get a creature that looks like a deer, you've kind of got to ask yourself, is it going to taste like venison?
I suppose we'll all know soon enough.
We certainly will.
Hey, Wendigos, that's the Colorado region, right? Up in the mountains? Montana, up where it gets cold?
Yeah, it was pretty cold.
Not my playground. Where do they come from again?
What, the creatures themselves?
Yeah.
Heck if I'd know, honestly. I mean, if you ask me to draw a map of America, I put all the states in the wrong location, so I mean...
No, I know you're stupid. No, what makes a Wendigo?
You hear him suck on his teeth as you call him stupid. You might want to watch your tongue there. This is supposed to be a friendly competition, right? It'd be unfortunate if we make an addendum to our list.
Yeah, it would be unfortunate for you. Rig just gives him that cocky smile.
He returns your cocky smile with a smile that on any other person you would think is just drunken bravado. But there is that glint that his wheels are turning. There is a coherent thought in that head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the type that smile he gives you, yes, it's drunken bravado. It very much is. But it's also got that hint of, I can also back up that drunken bravado.
Yeah. Rick doesn't give a shit.
He goes, I'm more than certain I will be seeing you and your English friends around. Maybe one day we'll show you Americans how we really do it.
Oh man, I think I'd like to see that. That reminds me, and he says, I don't have it on me. I forgot. I'm gonna send you a picture. I think you guys did good enough on this hunt to get a sneak peek at what we've got coming up.
Ooh, pulling back the curtain. Well,
Maybe. Look for it in the mail. I'll send you a little something.
and at this point, he kind of turns and begins to stagger away. He bumps into you, Victor, kind of gruffly, kind of stumbles, but he, tries to steady himself on you while also trying to make sure that he doesn't knock you over either. It is somewhat of a friendly-ish gesture, but it's also he's gonna face plant if he doesn't do this as well.
Please dip and don't let him get that hand.
Yes, Victor doesn't intend to have undesirables make physical contact with him.
Okay, go ahead and give me an athletics and dexterity here. It's the most appropriate.
Yeah. You said this has been a couple days, right?
A couple
between.
Yeah.
Okay. What would it be? Dexterity and athletics?
Yes.
All right. Let's see here. Dex and athletics. And just because I already hate the guy, let's spend a willpower on that as well. Three successes.
As he tries to get a hold of your shoulder to steady himself, you turn your body a little bit more than it needed to. You kind of exaggerate the movement that he causes when he bumps you, which puts you clean out of his reach by the time he attempts to, and he goes straight into the tile. He kind of shakes his head. He kind of looks up. His face is very red.
Oh, good heavens, are you okay? You took quite the tumble there.
He kind of shakes his head. I'm as
Rickle
good as I am as good as I'm ever gonna be. You guys are gonna need to watch it though.
Rick
I'll
will reach a
remember
hand
that.
down to. Rick will reach a hand down to help him up, and as he gets up, just be like, "I think you need this more than I do," and hand him his glass of whiskey.
He takes the whiskey and he does,
He says it in that way where like you don't know if he's being genuine or if he's insulting. Like it's on that line where it's entirely up to you as a person hearing it to decide which one it is, and you're never going to know if you were right or not.
He does take the whiskey. If you want to roll to see how he takes it, he is going to resist it, or if you're just going to let it be, then that's fine. This also goes to Victor here.
Yeah, no, he's like, I'm offering the whiskey. It's more like the comment with it is pointed, and from Rick, it's definitely an insult, but he says it in that way where it's like, it could have been an insult, it could have been genuine. I don't know which one I'm going to pick, and whichever one I pick, I'm probably never going to know if I was right or not. Kind of.
Yeah, as stated, if he doesn't make any sort of indication whether he takes it as an insult or not. His face is pretty set. However, he does tilt the whiskey over at Victor. I will make sure that the Delacroix name gets dragged through the mud by the time I'm done as well.
And Victor kind of looks at the rest of the crowd on this man who's stumbled over the floor, and Victor's just kind of, a bit hushed tone, and kind of is like, I do believe you've already made enough of a fool of yourself. I would advise against a second time.
You think I care if I make a fool of myself? You know, I was born.
His pants are just gonna drop. The last speech.
I was born in 1981. I was at the heart of the grunge movement in America. I've, freeloaded.
Actually, I'm just going to cut you off right there. I think we're through here. I really don't have any interest in anything that you have to say, really. It's all pointless, really. If you'll excuse me, I'll be taking my companions, and we'll be having our leave now. Yes, I do believe we don't need to hear anything that you have to say. Nothing really important or of consequence. We have something far more important matters to attend to. I'll leave you to find someone else to divulge your drunken ramblings to, and kind of does a little whiff of his tux and wanders off and leaves them with just a little bit of that elevated voice there to kind of draw attention to this drunkard stambling around on the floor, kind of throw back another bottle of whiskey.
As you do that, he does make one final comment. You're gonna think it's the French Revolution when we get done with your kind.
You know what? Victor is not even going to grace him with an ounce of his attention. He's already walking away. He's inconsequential beneath me.
At this point, you guys would hear Chloe shouting.
Oh, Rick moves fast. That's a voice he knows. As soon as Rick is immediate, goes shit and just bolts.
You see a Chloe yelling at the top of her lungs as the guy that you know as the doorman puts zip ties around her wrists.
Oh no. Yeah, Rick just moves over in front and puts a hand on the doorman's hand and says, "Cut those." Now.
Mr. Warren, this person was attempting to gain entry into the facility.
Shut the hell up and cut the zip ties off of Nathan's daughter, and I won't tell him you did it when he wakes up.
At this point, he doesn't cut the ties. He does let go. The ties are still very much in place, but instead of backing down, he literally pushes his chest into you to bounce you off of him.
I'm gonna move her. Who's out here?
There's a few stragglers. A little,
Okay.
trying to do the fashionably late to the party ordeal. But outside of that, security detail, valet, the people you would expect to be out in front of a country club.
I'm gonna kind of turn Chloe's shoulder and point to the helicopter. Say, go there.
But I don't want to go there. I want to go.
Go
where-
there.
But my dad is.
Nope.
Grumbles and walks away. Can you at least?
Pilot's in the helicopter. He'll cut them loose.
Can't feel my hands. She's trying to be over dramatic.
He looks at them and like, I imagine they're like, he was in the process of zipping them, so they're like not 100% zipped.
Mhm,
He's like,
yeah.
you're fine for now. Go. The pilot will cut you loose. Go get on the helicopter.
Kind of. She hangs her head and starts going that way. I hate you, Rick.
No, you don't. And then he turns back to the security guard. And is like, just call one of us next time. You seriously zip-tied Nathan Crawford's daughter? Are you an idiot?
I don't give a crap whose daughter she is. I care that she was attempting to gain entry into our establishment that she was not invited to. Maybe once she's a bit older, she'll get her
If you
own
ever
invitation.
put zip ties on a member of my cell or a member of their family ever again, I'll blow your fucking head off. Don't touch my people again.
You
And then he
need
just
to
turns
watch
around and
your
walks back in.
You need to watch your tone, Warren, otherwise we'll make sure your membership gets revoked as well.
As he's walking off. And then he pulls his phone out and calls the pilot. And is like, shut the door, cut the ties, give her a Nintendo DS to play with, she doesn't touch the alcohol, and keep her on the helicopter till we're done.
I desperately want to say, roll stealth. Give me a stealth roll to touch the alcohol. And I will roll for the pilot.
Dang it!
Jeez.
Ridiculous.
Dice. They're not working with you, man.
I'm pretty sure the pilot's gonna... I mean, it's the same roll.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
The pilot could hear it in Rick's voice, like he's just watching her.
Cabinets are locked.
Yep.
With that, an hour or so goes by. Hors d'oeuvres, general conversation is being had. Anybody wants to make any rolls of any sort at this time, now is the time to do it before we get started with the dinner.
I
Yeah.
know the traditional lore behind Wendigos, how they come to be in most settings and folklores. Would Rick know?
Sounds like,
Sounds like an occult.
Yeah, that sounds like
Because
intelligence plus occult.
That's why I'm asking. I feel like
That's why we have rolls.
I'm gonna spend. I think that this is a different night than the computer roll, right?
Yes.
I'm refreshed on willpower, so I'm gonna spend a willpower on that actually,
Think really hard.
or successes.
You would certainly know it.
Yeah, I'm not eating that. Not knowing how these things are created.
Not doing it?
Nope. Nope. Like that was like I was kind of alluding to it in that conversation. Like, do you know where Wendigos come from? Like, because I imagine it's an American. It's the folklore is traditionally North Central American in like the colds and comes from a lot of the old Wild West days. So I imagine that's why Rick is familiar with it.
Mhm.
And he's like, do you know where these things come from? And you
eat people.
you're
right?
doing it's when
It's worse.
when a person in normally it happens in cold environs when they become so starved and hungry that they turn to cannibalism. The people who turn to cannibalism and eat their compatriots are essentially cursed and turned into Wendigos, and then prowl the pine forests of the cold north with like an insatiable hunger that can never be filled with for human flesh. And so it's like they literally become these monsters by eating people. They used to be a person, and like now we're gonna eat. No, I'll have the salad, thanks.
Man, like I'm not sure if you're trying to convince Vanessa to eat this or not.
Victor, there was a roll that you wanted to make?
Yes. Perhaps I might, shall we say, rope my companions into something. If there's interest, this, once we have a moment to ourselves here, Victor's gonna broach the issue of our drunken friend. And Victor does think that we should perhaps deal with this problem while we're in such an opportune time and place. If he intends to strike at us, shall we say, why don't we give a little preemptive strike of our own? Nothing violent, of course, but well, I think he's in a rather prime location to be embarrassed in front of all of the Abbey. Why don't we ruin his reputation before he attempts to do something so foolish as to come at us?
Vanessa
Victor,
really wasn't paying.
You had me sold 3 paragraphs ago.
Yeah,
I think
Vanessa wasn't paying a super lot of attention, but then like something like he see something click behind her like eyes is like, I got this. And she goes walking up to him.
No, Vanessa. Wait.
And with that, we're going on our first break. We'll see everybody in 5 to 10 minutes.
Let's not be so.
And we are back. Now, before Vanessa marches up to this person, I feel like this is a good time to maybe cut away from this particular scene. We're going to address something that happened a couple of days earlier. Rick,
Yes.
you are in the back room
Oh.
of Deerfoot with the three individuals standing around a table. You kind of at the head of the table, I guess, if you could call it a head of a table. It's not really that type of table.
No, the back room, there's actually, and it's one of the things that until there's like an overhead drone shot or like wide shot of the building or something wouldn't really make sense until you kind of got that. And the back room, it's kind of like you walk in and down like a half flight of stairs and like 30 feet and then back up, and it's actually leads you to an adjacent building that looks like a storage facility. But when the camera comes onto the scene, you see like pure opulence. It's heavy, thick, dark oak woods, dark oak chairs, dim lighting, a beautiful like fully circular full bar in the middle. The walls are like glass and are like cracked, mirrored with like black kind of behind them, and then there's the edges of the rooms are a series of like high top booths, and then the above the bar, like above the bar is like a wooden panel with a bunch of light bulbs and numbers.
All right.
And you see light bulbs at all the booths, and it's one of those where like to make sure you're not disturbed, there's like the camera kind of pulls into this booth where they're at kind of this circular table, and there's like a little chain, and you can pull the chain, and when you do, your light and that light lights up to let them know to come like serve you. And it has this like, it's very much looks like what you would imagine like a super expensive, like this would be the speakeasy that the politicians went to, kind of vibe. And so
let's go ahead and address the three men in the room, however.
yeah, so around the table you see Rick has like an iPad and pushes it to them.
They pick up the iPad, they kind of look at it. So, what's exactly your objective with this?
Well, I don't like being in debt, so we're going to clear it up.
Excellent.
And I don't like doing bad business.
Safer that way.
For everybody. I don't know what happened, but I know why it happened, or at least who did it. The bear's off the table, so I can't pay with that anymore.
That's
And he kind
problematic.
of taps the iPad and says, "You know the name Delacroix? Delacroix."
I mean, I wouldn't say it's an incredibly popular name. Old money, generally speaking. I'm assuming if this person's last name is Delacroix, they have quite a bit of assets.
Yeah. Look. Victor's the reason I can't pay you, so Victor's going to pay you. But Victor doesn't know he's doing that. iPad's got what you need. Don't mess up any more than you have to. Do not touch the dining. Honestly, just avoid as much as you can. Really, we don't need a mess in the place. And if you just don't touch the dining room only, it's going to come back on me. But there's some good books in there. There's a couple of pieces of art. It'll total up to what the bear was going to be worth. don't take more than you're owed, that's bad business too. Get it done, get it over, so the books are clean. And nobody gets hurt, because these are my people.
All right. Nobody gets hurt. We'll be in and out. Security systems. I'm sure there's going to be some. We have some experts. They can crack it. No problem.
A little bit. They're traditional in a lot of ways, and their name protects them from most of the people who would be bothered.
So poison the dogs. Got it.
I like the dogs.
I didn't say poison to kill. Some poison's put to sleep. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Just don't make a mess. Don't take more than you're owed. Nobody gets hurt. Get in and out. And then everything on that iPad disappears.
He kind of doesn't really pocket the iPad because iPads don't fit into pockets, but the iPad is successfully stowed away, and he goes, "What iPad?" That concludes our business here?
Yeah, we're done here.
I never knew you.
Till next time.
And
he's, as usual, Rick's got a drink in front of him, but it doesn't look like he's drank anything from it. He kind of pulls a little chain to let them know to come clean the table off, and he kind of sits there after the men get up and leave. And when the server comes over, he kind of pushes the cocktail to them and asks for a water. It's kind of a time skip as he sits there, very stressed out, and then heads out, kind of down some stairs and through and back up. And then the next shot is the same shot that everybody saw of Rick not too long ago, exiting that door into the back room, taking that deep breath and going outside.
So, we're gonna go ahead and skip back forward here. Vanessa.
Yeah, so I'm getting up out of my chair. I'm about to go over to this guy that's been drinking, and Victor and Rick are like, whoa, hold on, and I'm just like, I turn around, I'm like, what?
Where are you going? What are you doing?
Drink him under the table. What? Think I'm gonna beat him up?
Yes.
Actually, that might be a halfway decent idea, Vanessa.
What, beating him up?
No, the drinking bit, dear.
Oh. Yeah, very good idea. Like, well, I'm doing it.
Yes. Beat him at his own game, shall we say. That might be whatever shroud or shred of pride he might have. I sense that probably falls somewhere on his ability to consume alcohol, and you might as well strip what little dignity he has left.
All right. Glad we're on the same page.
Hey, Vanessa.
Yeah,
do you have any drugs on you?
What are you looking for?
Something that would induce nausea, headache?
Yeah, and I like fish something out, and like there's like a little like a breath freshness, like it's like the label's been like ripped off of it or something. It's like, there you go.
I'll take that.
What? Now, what might you be plotting?
Oh, I was gonna bring him one of his drinks.
Ah.
Let's do it too early. I want to have fun first.
Sounds like a reasonable idea. Nothing like a gut full of booze and some nauseating substances to relieve one of the contents of one's inner foulness.
I imagine this is like whatever Vanessa keeps on her for when she thinks she's had too much to get it back out again. Like, oh, by the way, I know you guys, not American. I'm not sure what you know about Wendigo. Would not eat it.
What?
It was
like something?
No. It was a person that turned into a cannibal. That because it turned into a cannibal, turned into this. I don't feel like eating it is the. I don't know what might happen, but considering how it became what it became, maybe don't roll the dice on seeing how far down the line that curse can pass.
Don't worry, I'm on a liquid diet.
Okay, yeah. He just kind of turns and walks off.
And with that, I think Victor's contribution is going to be, shall we say, arranging an audience for this event, making the rounds around the table, making sure people are cognizant of our friend, and that there's enough eyes to witness what's about to happen, and be there in position to drive that final dagger, metaphorical dagger, of course, into his bag.
Oh, Vanessa.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the challenge. Yes, what's this guy's name?
Haven't been introduced.
Oh. Well, I'll get the name off Rick or something first. Like, what's this guy's name?
Rick doesn't know it either.
Yeah, I was meaning that in a very general sense.
Didn't even have the courtesy to give a name.
And Rick didn't care enough to ask.
How profoundly rude. And if there's one thing I can't abide, it's rudeness.
Alright. Can I make a socialized manipulation to try to figure out this guy's name from other people?
Sure.
Right.
If you want, I think Victor was gonna be socializing it.
Oh, okay. I'll let you tell me, and then I'll get the name.
If you want me to handle that,
yeah, okay.
I can slip that to you mid-drinking game or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you set this all up.
Or we could do a teamwork action.
If you want help from Vanessa, sure, but she's not particularly good at
Rick is.
people.
And what I'm going to be doing is basically talking to some of the servers, because there's no way this guy hasn't been an asshole to some of them, especially probably a couple of the female ones. And I'm going to find one that he's been a particular ass to and make sure that they serve him a drink with some of this stuff in it during this, to distance myself a little bit, so me and Victor can do a teamwork action to kind of for the socialization and the pinning everything down, because we're both working different parts of the crowd to get the name and everything and get everything put together.
All right, give me that teamwork action. Who's supporting?
How does that work?
You're supporting.
That's like a tactic more than anything.
I think there is technically a tactic that's exposed, but that might not.
Yeah.
The most appropriate, but anyway.
You're gonna make the DM look at the tactic just because now he's intrigued.
I would have on a manipulation persuasion roll. I would have 6 dice on 9 again. Base.
I'd have 3 dice, so.
All right, tactics. Okay, so teamwork. Victor, you're taking the lead.
Are we?
We can run this as a tactic.
Well,
if it fits, I don't remember the tactic that much.
This is teamwork.
Oh yeah, it's teamwork.
Sure.
Yes, doesn't have to be a tactic.
Yeah, teamwork. Sure. It's still asks for the primary actor.
That depends. What are we treating this teamwork as? Like a socialize?
Yeah, it's socialize.
All right.
Because you're
In
both
that case-
socializing.
Yeah, well, this would be the event for that. In that case,
aid.
Victor has 3 presence and 3 socialize, and he has a specialty and an asset skill in it.
I've got 2 and 3 with a specialty and an asset, so you've got 1 dot more than me.
Okay, so as the secondary, Rick, go ahead and give me your roll, and then your successes will give Victor there some extra die.
Persuasion. And then not again. And then the specialization. 2.
All right, +1 to the primary actor's roll for each success earned.
All right. An extra 2 dice. And you know what? Just because I don't even know this man's name, and I already detest him. Let's go ahead and spend another point of willpower. Why?
Oh, I should have done that. I didn't even think about it.
And let's see here. 9 again. Socialize. Presence. And another. C. So 4 dice from willpower and specialty, and 2 from you, so 6 extra dice. Three successes.
You're able, along with Rick's help, to gather a pretty large crowd, you know. Mostly, from what you can tell, it's mostly competitors and some libertines. The pursuit are kind of maybe watching from the side. You can kind of tell who's more interested in a drinking competition. This guy's name is Jasper Sharp, and he's one of the libertines. If he were to belong to a clique. So I'm assuming the name gets passed over to Vanessa pretty shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All right, yeah. Yeah, she's gonna come up to him and just kind of flatly at all right. So it's like, so I hear you're something of a lightweight.
He kind of chuckles. I wouldn't think you were one of those types trying to, what's the word here? Oh, egg on somebody?
Oh, I egg everybody on. So you want to prove it to you want to show me that you're not, or you just want to take this?
Take
just
what?
on the side of the ear, you hear Rick's voice go, "Watch this! Vanessa's gonna embarrass the shit out of this guy. Watch this."
You see him turn his head just enough to kind of, probably out of his peripheral vision, depending on how good it is at this moment. It gives Rick the side eye. He goes, "All right, do you have a drink of choice, or do I get to choose the drink?"
Your choice.
He's like, "All right, then. Bring the absinthe."
Good choice.
Ooh. Real stuff, right?
Oh, yes. You think you're gonna get the fake stuff at the Abbey? Oh, no. They're distilling that over an absinthe spoon with a sugar cube on top. They're doing the whole thing.
I as broke don't know much about drinking, but that sounds like serious stuff.
Yep.
Oh, absinthe is no joke. And also, I need to preface this because this is important. For those of you that know anything about alcohol here and know anything about the Abbey's tendency, this does have wormwood.
Ooh.
Of course it does. It better.
So this
Don't know what that is.
basically old school absinthe. The very, very old ones. They were made with wormwood, which is where the drink kind of got this reputation for causing you to hallucinate. So not only is this like 180 to 190 proof alcohol, but it's also going to make you trip.
Psychoactive booze.
Yeah, it can cause seizures and all kinds of stuff. Wormwood is some stuff.
So I mean, this is right up Vanessa's alley. This is going to be a good
Yeah.
day.
No matter the result, it's gonna be a good day.
This is like, oh, that stuff. Yeah, I drank a bottle of that last night. Just the wormwood.
All right, so these are going to be resolve staminas, mental fortitude, and physical fortitude.
Good, I have 4 stamina. So is it just gonna be like a single roll or a series of roll-offs?
For each drink. And obviously,
All right.
after a certain time, penalties are going to apply.
Here we go.
And at some point, we're going to cut over to Chloe. Don't worry.
And I'm representing my cell here in this drinking competition, so I will spend one on that one. 3 successes.
Very much in the same boat as you. Representing his cell. And he's already starting off with a negative, so.
Oh,
You both pound it back, and he kind of gives you a half smile.
4.
All right, before we get into our second roll here, Chloe,
Mm-hmm.
the pilot has cut you free and given you a DS. It has like some Pokemon game on it or some such.
The irony of the video game on that one being about capturing creatures to make them fight for you.
Yes, but she's not really interested in playing games right now. She's really mad. She wasn't able to get in. Got kicked out.
Ups.
I know, grown-ups. Nobody understands me. As for what she can do, not really sure. This is
You could make another run for it.
could try and get in again. She's gonna make a nuisance of herself. So, yeah, she's gonna wait until the pilot is distracted and.
Well, the pilot's eventually going to pick up a newspaper, not really paying full attention to the newspaper, obviously still doing his job and watching, but like at a certain point, you can't just sit there and stare at somebody the entire time.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll make a roll. 4 dice. Hey, look at that. Where were those earlier?
Hey. Oh wow, that's 4 10s.
Wasted all of those. Can I save some of those for later?
Wow.
Oh, good thing I didn't.
You get out, you're booking it. I need one more roll to get in.
Yes, one more roll. Here we go. Willpower. Can I spend willpower?
Yeah, I mean, she has it. She would have 4.
Alrighty. 3 successes that time.
This is for the door guard and his grab attempt.
Ah, piss off!
Oh! 7 successes on 5 dice. Damn.
All right, so I have something planned for this.
I'm pulling my iron hands for nothing.
Back to the drinking game for a little bit. Give me that sweet stamina resolve.
Here, wait, go.
After this point, you will be taking a -1 penalty.
Here we go. 2 successes.
Are you still burning willpower for this, or?
Yeah, I spend willpower on that, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you gotta spend it on something, right? And it's always the petty shit he gets depended on.
This one, the first one, you were like, oh, he's gonna fold super early, but the second one, he seems to have hit his stride, and he downs it. Same speed as Vanessa.
He rolled at a +2 modifier instead of -2 on that one.
Yes, he did.
He's burning willpower. He's at a -1 penalty.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
He had the -2 earlier, and then the 2 on that one, so I thought maybe it was a typo.
No, the first one was a typo, actually.
Okay. Cool.
So, what about Victor and Rick at this point?
At this point, Rick's not doing much. Like, part of his socializing earlier, the successes, was making sure that one of the servers that hate this guy because he's been a jackass is the one setting up the drinks. And pass her the thing, so on like the 3rd or 4th drink, she can dose this guy.
And Victor?
I think Victor's just kind of continuing his socializing, trying to see, broach the subject gently with others, see what more he can learn about him. But Victor's really just kind of biding his time until, our friend here's a bit too far gone, and he'll wait for that moment to strike.
So, one of the things that you're able to pick up, there's 2 big things that I want to mention here as you're schmoozing with the crowd. One of them, his cell consists of 4 other members. They are all either new money or less, if you want to put it that way.
Yes.
All relatively recent additions to the Abbey. With your successes, I would even say the distaste that they give is not only something that Victor cannot abide. There is certainly rumors floating hither and thither about how they even were allowed in. Some rumors state that their family doesn't even have that much money, or that they themselves don't even have all that much money. It almost seems like maybe Maximilian Strauss, the person who was their patron, endorsed them. There we go, that's the word.
Someone vouched for them.
Yes, almost as if he vouched for them and they got in. But nobody thinks that they should honestly be here. There's some questioning of Strauss's methods or lenience on letting them in. And the second thing here is Strauss has actually arrived and is currently sitting at the head of the dining room table away from everybody, kind of watching in somewhat bewildered amusement at the group in black tie get up, some of them shouting chug, 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 chug. You can tell he's not gonna partake in this tomfoolery, but he's watching with, that smirk, kind of like, these idiots.
Excellent. I think in that case, while this is going on, Victor's going to slowly weave his way through the party to try and get the ear of Maximilian and have a word with Mr. Strauss once this competition reaches a tipping point, shall we say.
All right. Can I go ahead and get my third roll from Vanessa here? This will be at a -1.
-1. 3 successes.
All right. We're still burning willpower. And he's also going to go down to a 2 penalty here.
Burn it all.
0, 0.
Wow.
Down and he once again he kind of gives you a smirk. He's like, "Hey, you haven't went down yet. I would have expected you to back out already."
It lasted longer than I thought. Drink.
Okay, so this is the one that is going to be poisoned. He's not going to take the penalty on this drink, though. It won't be till the next drink that he takes the new penalty. So this one is still at a 1 modifier. So go ahead and give us your roll, Vanessa.
Ooh, so close.
Ooh.
Chugs the 4th one back. All right, so at this point, Rick, you're very much aware that that was the one that was dosed. You watched her dose it. You watched her pass it this round. So, kind of goes as you would expect. Doesn't hit him right away. There's an awful lot of liquid there, so.
Yeah.
Victor. It's also at this time that, as you make your way about, you would eventually make your way out of the crowd and, Mr. Strauss is just sitting at the head of the dining room table by himself. Nobody's around him. He's more than willing to just let the debauchery continue on over there while he watches amusedly.
Yes, I think Victor will take this opportunity, this moment of alone time, to try to get a word in with Strauss, and he'll kind of walk up to the table and he'll say, Mr. Strauss, thank you so very much for the invitation. This is, and he'll kind of gesture towards the happenings below. Quite the party that you've put on. I must commend you.
No. You can't. I can't take all the credit. It would be in bad taste for me to take all the credit. Obviously, this is due to your fellow members here at the Abbey. The individual over there, slamming back what appears to be our fine absinthe. One Jasper, he kind of makes a hand gesture, or whatever name, was so kind as to provide the meal for us this evening.
Truly, you are as humble and magnanimous as they say. Do you mind if I take a seat?
Sure. And at this point, he opens up a case and he pulls out genuine Cuban cigar, and he also, extends an offer out to Victor.
Victor will take the cigar. It would be rude to refuse a gift. Why, thank you. I don't believe we've had the pleasure of formal acquaintance yet. As I'm sure you're aware, Monsieur Delacroix, at your service.
Yes, Mr. Delacroix. Strauss. No, I've heard a lot about your family. Been in the Abbey, longer than most. That, he kind of points at you with the cigar. That is saying something. A lot of us, don't make it to our 40s. He kind of chuckles. Clearly probably being in his mid to late 50s, maybe early 60s.
Yes. My family certainly prides itself on our dedication to the Abbey and the Vigil. In that order.
It's the only order that matters. It's the order it should be. He lights his cigar and then, of course, offers to light yours.
Victor will, of course, accept such a gracious gesture from our esteemed host.
So, is there something in particular you wanted to discuss? Outside of general greetings, I feel like this might be a bit more of a formality than that.
As I previously mentioned, we haven't had the pleasure of speaking as of yet. And I did think it would be about, well, due time that we come to know each other a bit better. It is long overdue. I'm sure you and my father have quite a long history, and probably some tales to share. But of course, I'm hoping to make some tales of my own. Are you a gambling man, Mr. Strauss?
He kind of smirks. It depends on how much I can twist the gambling into my favor, of course. Nobody gets to where we are by spending money fruitlessly.
Well, of course. The house always wins, doesn't it?
He kind of gives a slight nod for you to, in agreement, but also to continue.
And Victor will kind of gesture towards this drinking game here, and sort of as they're throwing back another glass of absinthe.
While you mention that, let's go ahead and have that roll. Real quick.
Oh, another drinking roll?
Yeah.
Yep, this one, he is gonna take the full penalty here.
Alright, so we're at a -1 now?
You're at a -2.
-2, okay. Oh. Alright, I'll save a willpower for later. Ooh.
And this is him still burning willpower, this next roll.
I figured I'd save it for some later rolls.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Looking a little shaky there.
however, he's sitting here at a -6 essentially. Continue your conversation.
I must admit, this is quite a lovely little distraction, isn't it?
I suppose. Sometimes, we just need time to blow off steam.
Indeed.
Decompress.
Yes, a little something to take the edge off, I suppose.
Actually,
I do.
Victor, before you finish that thought, roll me a perception. Because this is important.
Sure. And since you said it's important, I'll go and spend power on that.
That's perfectly fair. Perfectly
Something tells me I should pay attention.
2 successes.
So, you've seen it a couple of times. This is the first time you've seen this item up close. He has a cane. You're familiar with such things. You can see the subtle line that separates the top from the actual walking part of the cane. You're aware that this is a weapon of some sort. You're also aware that despite him smoking with one hand, his other hand has not left that cane. And the way his hand moves about it, it's odd. It's almost as if he were stroking a lover's arm, almost.
This sounds to me like it's time for an empathy roll. It sounds like it's time to read into this guy. We've had a bit of a conversation. I want to get a better feel for him and what he's about, what his deal. Let's see if I can read him. What would it be? Wits and empathy?
Wits and empathy. There's not gonna be a resistance roll here.
Yeah, sure. I will go ahead and give a roll on that. Wits and empathy. I won't spend willpower though. I'll start saving some for later. Darn it! I should have spent 4 successes. So close to exceptional.
It's the best you can tell. His his mind's only halfway on the conversation. He definitely seems to be distracted. However, the way his hands move and his eyes move as you have this conversation with him, he's not distracted because of the debauchery going on in front of him. He's paying attention to it too, but it's if you were to gauge an order of importance, it would be his cane, you, then the debauchery.
Interesting. Yeah. In that case, I think Victor will bring up the sword cane, as it were, and make a reference. As we're there's a lull in the conversation or something, as they're throwing back another round.
And
Victor will just kind of comment on that little sword cane, like, that's a rather exquisite piece you have there. Some fine craftsmanship. You might consider myself an enthusiast as well. My father's is a lovely antique piece that's been passed through the family, but that item in your hand is, without question, in its craftsmanship and, might I say, exquisite taste.
With surprising ease. And I say this as in this thing must have been oiled less than an hour ago for the ease in which it moves out of its scabbard sheath, whatever verbiage or whatever word you want to use in this case. And his hands are exceedingly quick with it. Just the hint, the flash of the blade, and then it's back down. He goes, this piece, It's been with me ever since I started the Vigil. Unfortunately, it does not have as much of a history as your family's piece most likely does. It's a relatively newer make, but I've grown quite fond of it. I consider it almost a part of myself at this point. I've had it for so long, though.
Yes. Certainly is the gentleman's choice. A more elegant weapon from a more civilized age.
I would say so. And with that, I want my next drinking roll.
Drink. What's the penalty?
It's every 2 rounds it increases, so you're still at the same one from last round, since you just increased last round.
So yeah, -2. So 5. Right.
Would you... Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
So, I'm debating if I want to call the scene here, or if I want to actually roll. Because it's not going to change what I'm going to do here. If he fails or not, this is still going to happen. At this point, Chloe makes it into the building, makes it into the group before the security guard hits her. And when I say hits her, I mean like full body tackles, flies forward, people are flying out of the way, straight into Jasper and Vanessa's back. That loud clatter.
So I just watched him hit and tackle her.
Yeah, it was a full tackle. He didn't like punch her or anything. It was a body tackle.
Are they is he on the ground face down then with her underneath?
They kind of bounced around, obviously, when they hit a bunch of people, and then they hit 2 people that had a bar directly in front of them, you know.
Yeah.
So.
But he's on the ground?
Yes.
I'm just gonna walk up. I've got quick draw, pull my pistol, and put a bullet between his eyes.
Little joy.
I've got the quick draw merit. He's prone on the ground, probably doesn't see this coming. Rick's just gonna walk up, and as he walks up, he just reaches behind his formal coat, pulls it out. It's his really nice 22 with the suppressor on it, so it doesn't make a lot of noise. He's just gonna walk up and right between the guy's eyes.
Chloe, I think this is the first time you probably witnessed somebody get offed. You don't worry about a breaking point roll. It's kind of pointless, but like...
Yeah, especially right on top of her?
Well, he wasn't on top of her. As stated, you guys kind of scattered.
I rolled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick is going to be physically restrained very quickly by several people.
He does it, drops the pistol, and holds his hands up and steps back.
Strauss's attention, as you continue to read him, has went from 70-20-10 split to all of a sudden actually an 80-20 split, 20 being his cane and 80 being the gunshot and the crowd of people now.
I told him what would happen if he touched her again.
Strauss kind of flicks off a couple of ashes into the ashtray and goes, "Well, then."
Yeah, and Rick's just doing this.
Victor will kind of like, as Rick is throwing the hands, Victor will just kind of lean in like, some security you've bought for this event, Couldn't even stop a child?
I would say he stopped the child. Unfortunately, his head wasn't strong enough to stop a bullet.
Yes, how regrettable.
Rick's gonna look around, making sure so now that everybody knows like this isn't gonna be like a whole thing. This was a one and done, and he's gonna slowly reach down, pick it up, and stow it back. if nobody stops him, put it back in his quick draw holster, kind of behind.
Strauss quickly flips his cane in his hand, and as stated, he is somewhat of an older man, somewhat portly. You would not expect this level of dexterity from him. His familiarity with that weapon is extensive. Within moments, it's twirled around and he's pointing with it. You, the person who discharged the firearm. Name.
I'm Rick.
Rick, come over here.
And he kind of does, and as he walks over, he picks a martini up off of a silver platter. And is leans over to like one of the servers and is like, "Can you take the girl and get her cleaned up, please?"
How is she reacting to this?
She's
Like full mental breakdown, or
nearly. Like was said,
she's
she's
pinned
never.
under the body of this dead man.
No, they had separated apparently.
Yeah, he like tackled and they tumbled and rolled and separated.
But if she did see it, which apparently she did, she's like, mouth agape. Rick, what did you do? Oh my God.
Exactly what I told him would if he put his hands on you again. This is why I said stay in the helicopter.
But, what?
It's important to keep your word around here.
She's, just deer in the headlights, dumbfounded.
How's Vanessa doing? Vanessa...
I peel myself off the floor. I reach behind the bar, taking another bottle of this absinthe stuff, and pour another glass. And I say to my friend, I didn't hear no bell.
Rick's gonna look at Strauss and say, "If you'll just a moment, I'm gonna take her back outside, and then I'll come have a drink with you."
No, you're gonna have a seat. He points at the girl that you were speaking with. You. This is the gentleman that has the helicopter that causes such an entrance every time he's here. Take her to
remember me. I knew it.
Take the girl to the helicopter. She really shouldn't be here. Also, I'm gonna need some men to clean up the mess. I'm gonna have a talk here. And he kind of looks over at Victor. Do you know this man? And he gestures towards Rick.
yes, of course. I know many people.
Is there any other members? He's like, let's just cut to the chase here, and he kind of puts out his cigar and leaves it in the ashtray. Is he one of the members of your cell? And if he is, can I also have the other member of your cell over here?
Yes, of course. He is. I suppose I can make such arrangements. And Victor says this, knowing full well that he's probably cognizant of who's in our cell, and if he doesn't, that's maybe telling how little attention he's paying. That's maybe a good point for a roll, maybe, if he's actually doing this out of politeness to see my response, or if he genuinely has no idea who we are, we're not even on his radar, or is the intent that obvious?
Okay, go ahead and give me that roll. That's gonna be definitely wits. Yeah, wits empathy. Makes sense here. To read what he's exactly getting at.
You mean for me to roll?
Yes, I thought that's what you were getting at. Sorry.
You said Rick. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say Rick.
You got me a little confused.
My bad. I didn't even realize I said a name.
No, it's fine. I'll quick roll here with some empathy. 2 successes.
Yes, with 2 successes. It is a bit of a theater from what you can tell. You're fairly confident that he's aware of who your cellmates are, but he wants to see if you're willing to
Divulge that information, yes.
and
yes.
shoulder the burden of their actions,
Yes.
so to speak.
Of course. But yes, I suppose I can have this arranged, but, did you want to see the conclusion of our little competition before it was so, unfortunately interrupted?
He kind of looks over and he goes, well, I don't think the competition can continue. It looks like that boy there who's bleeding from his head, unfortunately, met his end on the edge of that bar. It looks like his chest is rising up and down. He'll be fine. But I would call this competition a wash.
Oh, so...
He got knocked out by the drop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I drink my shot anyway. Victory
Vanessa
shot.
wins.
Oh, okay, I missed that part, so he...
I did too.
Yeah.
I hadn't
Yeah, I thought he was
said
still
it yet.
conscious.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah, I hadn't
Yeah.
gotten to that yet. That was a deliberate not mentioning yet, though.
Okay. But yes, with that, yeah. Seeing that Vanessa has succeeded.
Kinda won.
Yes, with an unconscious fellow passed out against the bar. Victor will take the opportunity to kind of wave over Vanessa and Rick to the head table here.
Oh, I'm gonna see if I can hold my victory shot. I think this is a -3.
Yep, this would be a -3 now.
Hey.
Just to rub it in.
Okay, I mean, you're at a -3 penalty. You're pretty drunk, and you would be hallucinating a little bit.
Yeah, so I see like 3 victors like kind of waving me over. Oh, I'll make my way over.
Have a seat, have a seat, have a seat.
Yeah, I just collapsed in my chair.
So, let's discuss the elephant in the room. Let's just get that out of the way. Rick, was it?
You know my name.
We haven't been formally introduced. It is customary to introduce ourselves.
Rick will hold his hand out to shake.
He takes your hand, shakes it. Strauss.
A pleasure, Strauss. And you're right, we haven't been introduced. It's a shame, really. I hate that y'all's conversation was interrupted.
Yes, that interruption is problematic. Hiding bodies is not necessarily great for the pocketbooks.
Well, it's on campus. It's not like it has to be moved now.
Fair, but still, it's just not something I like to make a habit of. He chuckles.
Say, I don't
regardless.
either. It's been 3.5 years since I've had to do that.
Regardless, I can't have something like that happen. So, I'd like to ask the collective unit here, what should I do in this situation? I'll let
Do what?
He looks over at Vanessa. Is she gonna be okay to stay? Is she...
As much as ever.
She's
Fair.
on her feet, unlike the individual you've placed your chips on.
Well, he'd already put his hands on Chloe once, and I told him not to do it again, or that would happen.
No, we were drinking.
No, not
yes,
you.
I believe Victor is referring to Jasper over there. Yes, I did sponsor him in. Yes.
Oh, Jasper, he'll
It's
be.
a little friendly drinking competition.
Oh,
There's no need to get upset.
No, I have no issue with the drinking competition. I have an issue with the man that just now has a bullet in his head and is going to have his family paid off, have his funeral expenses taken care of.
Yeah, Vanessa like looks behind her and she's like, "Oh, he's dead." Just like realizing it.
Yes, what an astute observation, Vanessa. If
How'd that happen?
And once again, Strauss kind of looks over at Rick and Victor with the look of, "You sure
obvious.
she's okay?"
He just kind of shrugs and says, obviously I'll cover the costs of that, so it's not y'all's to burden, but he knew that was Crawford's daughter when he put the zip ties on her the first time. He had clear warning not to touch her again, and thought that body checking a 13-year-old girl who's the daughter of a club member was the way to handle the situation with clear warning. So I think what we do is we clean the mess up and we make sure that the help knows not to put their hands on people who they're told not to touch.
Indeed, I must agree with Rick here. I do think you have an issue with your security. You seemed rather concerned with tonight's events, a bit tense, and I understand these situations can be tense. But perhaps you might take this as an opportunity to, shall we say, invest in more competent security. After all, Rick has so graciously opened a spot for you. Out with the old and in with the new.
I have a better idea.
Rick
will reach
always
inside
handy.
his breast pocket and pull out like a small little metal thing and like plop it up, click it open, and it's like small little hand rolled, very expensive hand rolled cigars, and we'll pull one out and set it down next to the one that he had finished smoking in the ashtray. This nice new clean expensive hand rolled one. I'll clip the end off of it and set it next to the one that he'd put out that he'd finished, and then close the thing back up and put it back in so that he has a fresh cigar to smoke.
I have a thought. Now, I'm not normally in the business of rewarding bad behavior. However, after the 2 reports I've been sent regarding your contributions to the Abbey, we have a nice Galleria event that kind of looks about. It doesn't look like Nora is present, probably dealing with the specifics of that Galleria.
She's handling the space, yes. She's very particular with the presentation.
Of course, I wouldn't expect anything less. However, that does give me an option here. Rick, you promised to foot the bill?
Yeah, I'll handle the payouts.
How about you handle all of the payouts?
Rick kind of quirks his eye. It's like, his brow. It's like, kind of looks to Victor. Because Rick's a smooth talker. He can get pretty much what he wants out of people 99% of the time, but he's not actually very good at reading people. He generally is paired with somebody who's a good empath, for better terms, and Rick does the talking, so he just kind of like his brow kind of quirks and he looks at him, and then he kind of looks to Victor a little bit to let Victor kind of, as if to say, like, are you hearing something I'm not hearing here? Like,
Well, let's see. Why don't we do another empathy roll and see what if anything, Victor's picking up on him, what's changed in his body language and demeanor. Give that another roll. 3 successes.
His attention is still very much split between the group and his cane. His attention occasionally shifts to other people that have been making their way over to the table. You guys are seated at the prominent spots next to him, so, everybody else is sitting further away at the table, talking about the obvious shooting, the drinking game, and then a few curious glances over, wondering what you guys are discussing. But there's at least a good 3 to 4 chairs in between you guys and the rest. He continues. So, what I have. As stated, it's somewhat of a reward. Not necessarily for what you did here, but, I do feel like a reward is in order. So, you're gonna cover the payments. His family's payout, you're gonna make sure they're covered. You're gonna make sure he has a nice, formal burial. He was a card-holding Abbey member as well. Once those 2 things are taken care of.
He says that, and Victor sees Rick's face slip for just a second, like a whoops. It's very brief before he covers it back up, though.
Now, what I meant by all the expenses. Property tax, heating, cooling, water, electricity, grounds fees, employee, any security detail you wish to hire, any staff you want to hire.
For here? He kind of points down at the ground beneath them.
Yes, Victor?
What an intriguing proposition. I must say, I do think you're shifting your chips to a much more lucrative investment. As you can see, our group here is nothing if not effective. And we'll give a little nod of the head to Rick.
Camera cut. Rick's taking another one of those hand-rolled cigars out when the camera does the cut to him and is cutting it for himself.
I'm so glad that you've recognized my vision for a more secure Abbey. I would be honored, of course, to make those improvements that I've suggested to you, Mr. Strauss.
Because, and he takes note of what you said, but he kind of continues on with what his own train of thought, essentially, before he deems to address that, if he does. I have business arrangements, and I find caring for this place growing a little bit tiresome. You guys would be in charge of everything. Parties get scheduled here on quite the frequent occasion. I'm sure you're aware. You'd be handling the daily books, obviously. We run a legitimate club here as well. Not everybody is privy to... And he makes a gesture, necessarily this. We have to make our money in other fees. If it was just us, then unfortunately we wouldn't have a pot to crap in. As he doesn't like the language that he even used, but it suits the terms. I will be spearheading the Abbey's attempt to get a new clubhouse situated and ready to go. So, I am going to be actually out of the country for a little bit. I will be popping back in to make appearances such as this still, but my attention will be focused elsewhere, and you taking this off my plate would be a breath of fresh air for myself.
You got it. You can crash at Rick's place anytime you want.
I just look at him and I shake my head no. I just reach over. I'll reach over, like her head's kind of wobbling, and I'll reach over and kind of like pat her on the head a little bit. And as I do, kind of like ease it over to the side so that it's kind of like slumps this way. Just kind of like ease it over.
And I think to like seal the deal here, Victor is gonna do the firm handshake at the end and try a little persuasion, shall we say? And as he tells Mr. Strauss here that again that he's making a wise investment, and I hope that you'll consider investing in ourselves in a greater capacity. I think you'll find such an arrangement very lucrative, shall we say. I think you'll find that your efforts will be well rewarded. The Abbey would be in good hands, in better hands, and he'll gesture ever so slightly towards his sponsored man who is passed out at the bar, and attempt to drive it home with that final little thing of like, maybe you've placed your chips with the wrong cell.
You can tell.
Want me to roll for the manipulation and persuasion?
What are you trying to persuade him here, though? What exactly?
Like I mentioned, I want to erode that confidence that he has. That, like, the suggestion being that your investment in this unsavory character was unwise, and that you would be better to support myself or
all right,
self.
Give me that roll.
Manipulation and persuasion, and I will absolutely spend a point of willpower on this, and attempt to seal that deal with that comment and a firm handshake. Let's see here. I have a. Would you say this counts? I have a specialty in persuasion, fast talking. Or would you say that's outside of the scope of this conversation?
I am going to actually defer my judgment over to the person that is actually used to do this for a living. Is this fast talk or?
This is more. I would say probably not. This is more like. This is more like long, like trying to shift somebody's attitude over a long term, rather than like trying to like pull something over them quickly or trying to get like a quick temporary thing. Like fast talking to me is more of like a
Like a door-to-door salesman type thing.
Well, just like you're looking for like a quick bridge, however temporary, but you're trying to get through the door. Whereas this is more of like looking for a more long-term, permanent adjustment to his perception of something.
All right, so no to the fast talk specialty.
I want to say yes.
You're muted.
Excuse me. Yeah, manipulation, persuasion, and I will spend a willpower on it. 3 successes.
He kind of nods as he
And
shakes.
with that, I want to activate my inspired condition, which would give me an exceptional success on those 3 successes.
That's a B.
Yeah.
He smiled. I will certainly be watching your cell with rapt attention, I can guarantee you. As for other hands, he is but a means to an end. That end is not something I am, at this point in time, at the liberty to discuss. Something a few of the higher-ups and myself are working with. I'm sorry, I can't go much further into it. I apologize. At this point, the servers walk in with the slices of Wendigo and begin to serve people this venison, essentially. Rick has probably the most disdained look upon his face at this time.
Spinach rolls.
So,
Yeah, Rick's gonna be like, man, I don't know. I ate a lot of the shrimp during the appetizers. I don't think I'm hungry.
Victor and Vanessa, though.
I take a bite. Give me some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum. Unless like somebody tries to stop me. Yeah.
It
I'm
tastes
too drunk to give a shit.
No more than the warning I gave you before. But
But I'm blasted right now, so judgment compromised.
and it tastes like a mix of venison and pork.
Tastes like chicken.
yeah, Rick.
Yeah.
Rick's actually, while everybody sits down, Rick's gonna use that opportunity to go round up Chloe.
Yeah, Victor will partake as well. Not that he's particularly enthused about it, but there is something poetic, I suppose, about cannibalizing a cannibal who spawned from a cannibal. There's a lovely little theme on play there that's too delicious to pass up.
As long as you don't eat the brains, you're fine.
And with that, we're going to call this session. So, we're going to start off with our round. Chloe, how's Chloe feeling?
Chloe, well, that's
Traumatized.
a little bit, yes. She was not expecting her dad's friends to be so much. She had, she knows that Nathan went on, black tie events with secret people that he would never tell her about. So she really wanted to get in there and learn something about, about her dad. Especially now that he's, in the hospital. This was her chance. And
How did it feel to be responsible for the death of another human being?
Does Chloe know that Nathan and Rick go back into military days?
Yeah, she would know that. But actually seeing it in action is completely different than hearing stories.
Yes, yes, it is.
How you doing, Pooter? I know this session wasn't really focused, but you were also playing a side character as well, kind of.
Yeah,
I apologize.
No, that's fine. It was my idea to play a side character because with my main character in the hospital for a month, I didn't want to bog down the story with go back to Nathan in the hospital. He's twiddling his thumbs or he's sleeping, and this way there's not so big of a gap in time that that's lost opportunity for roleplay like this to happen. So was Chloe a nuisance enough to the group to make some drama? That was kind of part of the goal, was to
That's my thing.
well, yes, but trying to back that up.
I feel like Chloe successfully caused drama with her nosiness.
Yes. Okay. Good, because story's no fun without drama.
Very, very true. On that note, our other drama maker, Vanessa.
Yeah. Vanessa's had a good time. She got to get absolutely blasted. She embarrassed some guy she's never met before. He's drunk under the table. Yeah.
Hallucinating a little bit.
Yeah, not quite realizing there's a dead man in the room. She's having a good time.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I liked how everybody thought I was gonna do something so much more worse to that man than when I first got up. Yeah. Having a good one.
Victor.
Yeah, I think Victor's doing pretty well. The bit about his manor being ransacked is a bit of a downer for sure, and he's still certainly not pleased about that, but there's not much he can do until the police have had time to make their investigation. Victor has bigger things to attend to than tracking down stolen art and antiquities. He'll leave that to his connections. And he's, I think, rightly reasserted himself in his particular realm of influence, having another party that is, with the exception of a rather dramatic punctuation, shall we say, to the conversation, has gone pretty well. I think he's probably riding high on that, on salvaging what could have been a horrifically bad moment for the cell.
How are you doing, Genesis?
Yeah, doing good. Glad to be here and glad to keep this ball rolling.
Rick? You just shot a man.
I did. Rick's fine. Rick doesn't want to have to do things like that. But Rick's virtue of loyalty can be a bit of a hindrance at times. And that's his best friend's touchstone that that guard with plenty of warning just body checked. So, plus they gave him a clubhouse for it.
Not necessarily for that.
Tell that to Rick.
In spite of.
You've just shown that you can handle security better than they can.
Yeah. No, he's not super happy to have had to done it, but it's one, like, we work in one of those circles where it's like, you can't say things like, don't touch them again or I'll kill you, and then not follow up on it, because like in a world like this, it just, what you say and what you mean and who believes what you say matters so much, and people heard it. So when he put his hands on her again, the dude called Rick's bluff and put him in a corner, and it just wasn't the bluff to call.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You shot a man.
I shot a man and they gave me a clubhouse. It's fine.
All right, then. I mean, sometimes it's sweet, short, and to the point. So, everybody, it's been nice. We will see everybody later. I'm going to go ahead and raid Dork Tales here in a little bit.